Today we're going to talk about our top 5 filtering verbs that we delete from our work in progresses. So in every manuscript, when you're starting to write a scene, you kind of want to write it where you can have the 5 senses engaged when you read the story. And a lot of times when people write, like I do, put things that keep you from being in the moment.
Yeah.
Delving into the scene, you put this filter, is what it's called, like
on paper, on in your whip.
like a barrier between the reader and what the character is experiencing.
Absolutely.
And so these are our top 5 verbs and that we filter with that lens, just by the way you write the story. For example, number 5, I heard. Like,
Guilty.
right? Like, I heard him say something, or I heard a bird rather than a bird chirp. I heard a bird singing.
Because it removes you, right? Like, I mean, if you're a reader and you're in the character's head, because that's why we all try to do is get in our characters' heads. And then all of a sudden you say, I heard a bird. Well, it kind of removes you a little bit, right? Because now you're like, well, wait, why can't you just say a bird chirp, like
Right.
you were saying, like I heard kind of like, wait, what? No, like you just hear the bird. You don't tell yourself like, I heard a bird. So yeah, but I totally do that, especially if it's coming from behind my character. Like if I'm writing a scene where the character is like hearing it behind, I always say I heard and then delete.
Right? Like you go through and like, okay, run a search and delete for those certain words, like I heard or I saw, or
that's right.
Number 4.
Yeah, exactly. Number 4, I saw.
I saw.
Guilty again. Absolutely. I saw the car coming around the bend. 100%.
Then the car came around the bend.
Exactly.
Here's another that's more internal. It's when you say, I realized.
Yes.
I realized. Rather than showing the person coming to the realization
of
the scene, you say, oh, I realized that he's not as nice as I thought he should be.
Exactly. You can show it instead. You can show him taking the last cookie from the kid, like taking the last cookie on the plate when a kid is really hungry, instead of saying like, I realized he wasn't as nice. Like I agree. And I also use, in the same vein, I also use I noticed, which I delete.
I know, or I thought.
Yeah.
Thought, rather than showing the thought.
Yes.
I thought.
Completely. Agree.
Number 2, because we went through 4 was I saw. Number 3, I realized. Number 2 is I looked.
I must have that in my whip 100 billion times because I looked here and I looked there and I looked at her and I looked at him, like all over the place. And sometimes you have to say it,
sometimes,
but most of the time,
for all of them, sometimes there's certain ways that you want to put where you want to put the filter between you, the story, the reader, and the action. There's times when you want to have that where you kind of have it kind of a little bit removed rather than so internal, where you would put, I looked or he looked, she looked. You kind of want to slow it down.
Yeah, but if you're
and the action immediately coming.
Agreed. You need that pause almost like in the action. But I also will say to my character, because I kind of tend to write my whips like a movie. So I'll say, I look to the left, where you don't really need to say that. You could just say like, to the left, there was a blah, 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 or whatever. So yeah, delete.
Delete. And number 1, I felt. Like, you don't really have to say I felt, or she felt this way, or he felt this way. You just tell them how the person felt.
I feel like when you have to use I felt, it's because you're not using the right verb. Do you know what I mean? Like it's I felt angry. Like use a different verb sometimes. It's as easy as that.
Show it too. You don't have to show the person, like tell the person is angry. You just show the person is angry.
Yeah, slam your fist on the table.
Yeah, those are our top 5 filtering verbs. For more editing tips, check out the video on the left, and to binge a bunch of editing tips and author interviews, check out the playlist on the right.